Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mike and today we're going to be looking at another sword. I apologize for the delay in putting up this review. I had this footage filmed for a while, but the weather was bad and I've been sick and my kids have been sick. It's just been really difficult to find time to wrap this up and get this out there to you guys. But finally, here I am today, so here we go. What we have here today is another sword by HanBon Forge. So if you guys know, if you've watched my channel and you've seen some of my past reviews, I did a review on a katana by HanBon Forge, and I was very thrilled with that particular sword. I thought for the money and for a budget range katana, it was very well done and it really impressed me. So I went ahead and I went on HanBon Forge's website and I had them make me something different. And here it is today, and I'm going to show it to you guys. And it is a Japanese sword. It does look a lot like a katana. However, it's not technically classified as a katana. It's what we would call a Nodachi or an Odachi. Now, as far as I understand, those terms either mean great sword or field sword. So this is not your standard type of Japanese katana. This is a sword that would have been meant to be used on the field of battle and not really worn in civilian life or anything of that nature. So this is a battlefield weapon, hence the really large size. You know, you would not be able to carry a Nodachi around with you in a civilian setting. I mean, I guess you could, but it would be a little bit ridiculous because the sword is very, very long and huge, which is one of the things that characterizes a Nodachi or Odachi. It's basically a really large katana. This one here has a 90 centimeter blade, which comes out to about 35 inches, almost 36 inches, and it has a about a 15-inch handle, so it is almost a 16-inch handle. So it's a very long, large katana. And so I asked HanBon Forge to make me this Nodachi based on one of their standard katanas. I basically chose one of their models, gave them some custom measurements, and they built it for me. So let's go over to HanBon Forge's website, and I will show you guys how I actually made this particular sword. Okay, my friends, so this is HanBon Forge's webpage where you can go to purchase your swords and do your own customized project if you would like. I think it's I think it's funny that they say custom your own katana here, not customize. Custom your own katana. And they got a cool picture of the forging process here. Anyway, this is where I went to get my sword, and this one here is the exact base model that I used in order to start my project or start the review sample that you guys are seeing here in this video. So as you can see, base price $199, and they offer all these different options here in order to customize your sword. So you don't have to get this brown motif here once you select the different options. I mean, you could get a red Ito, you know, a black Semigawa, and then the tsukamaki or the handle wrap. They have the traditional standard style wrap here, and then the katate maki, which is, I guess, what they call battle wrap, which is a choice that I got on my sword. And then, you know, obviously you can choose different saya options. And then if you want a Sageo, you do have to pay an extra $10, and you do get a sword bag for, quote, free. So once you go ahead and add in all your options, it brings you up to about $209 right here. Now, this is not where I stopped. I went ahead and asked them to do some special things for me. I asked for a extra long grip, and I gave them the measurements for it, and they said, sure, we'll do that for you, and they gave me a little bit of a price quote for it, and I think it added an extra, I think I want to say about $50 to get the custom length blade and the custom length grip. So it was an extra $50. And then I did want to get the, let's see, I did want to get leather the synthetic, well, it's synthetic leather wrap for the handle, and that was an extra $20. So there's 70 there. And then the highlight of the sword is I asked them, I said, hey, could you guys do one of those really cool double-edged Japanese blades that you sometimes see on katanas? And they said, sure, send us some pictures of exactly what it is that you want. And so I think it's called Kogarasu Maru is the type of blade that I asked them to do. And there's a cool article on Wikipedia that shows you what I'm talking about. And here it is. Here's a Japanese drawing, a traditional drawing of the blade type that I asked them to do. And as you can see, this back edge here is also sharpened. And we have basically a spear point and then a sharpened edge for the true edge all the way down. But the false edge is sharpened to about here. And then there's a fuller here. And this part of the blade here is blunt. And so it's not your stereotypical or traditional katana style blade. And so one thing is that this portion of the blade is actually a lot thinner than your standard katana blade would be. Katanas tend to have a thicker spine that runs all the way down, almost right to the tip. And this thins out quite drastically around here in order to make the appropriate angle for this edge geometry to have a nice sharp edge on the false edge. So this is what I asked them to do, and they actually did deliver it. Now, they also charged me a little bit extra for the custom blade option and length, so I think that was like maybe another $20. So you're talking about 20, and 20 is 40 plus 70, so that brought my oh my god, my math is terrible, 40, an extra $120. Is it $120? Yeah, I can't do math, whatever. So around $330 is basically what they asked for this particular sword. So yeah, really cool that they offered to do these things for me. Well, they didn't offer, I asked. And yeah, they can do it. So if you have some other types of odd requests or whatnot, just take pictures and communicate with these guys, and they can do customize things that are not shown in their standard options. So yeah, very, very cool. All right, guys, so let's take a look at the sword piece by piece. I'll go over all of the particular features and what I think of it, and then I'll show you guys a little bit of cut testing, and then I'll give you guys my general opinion, as I always do, on this particular sword. By the way, if there's anything that you like in this video or you want to talk about, just throw it down in the comments below. Please subscribe. Please leave a like. It really helps me out, helps my channel out, and it also helps me converse with people about the hobby that I like and presumably you like, and that is, of course, collecting swords. And, of course, I'll put a link down to HanBon Forge's website down below, so you can go over there and check out their different offerings also. So let's start with the Kashra. And basically, I love these fittings. These fittings are really, really simple and beautiful. They have, I think those are plum blossoms on there, if you guys can see it. But they're very simple, and I'm actually a fan of simple fittings. These cheaper mass-produced Chinese katanas and Japanese swords, Japanese style swords, I should say, if you tend to get very complicated fittings, they tend to come out looking really cheap. These are very simple and very elegant, and I think that they look great on the sword. And so this Kashra, the transitions are pretty good. You can see it's a little bit bunched up there at the end, and I did choose the synthetic leather wrap for this, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So if you do see some wear on there, that's from me either dropping the sword, because I did drop it, and using the sword. You can see it right there. There's a little bit of wear right there. That's where I dropped I accidentally dropped the sword. But anyway, love this Kashra design. It's probably one of my favorites on their website. It's just very, very elegant, very simple, and very classy in my opinion. So yeah, they have a bunch of different fittings that you can choose from, but I found that one to be my favorite. If we take a look at the Ito, like I said, it's that synthetic leather. It's not really the highest quality thing. It is a little bit cheap, but it actually looks really nice, to be honest with you. How well it will hold up, I have really no idea, but you can see that I chose black semi-gawa for the paneling underneath, and they are panels. It's not a full wrap. You can kind of see the seam there. But I actually think that the quality of the semi-gawa is pretty good. The nodules are pretty good. You could also see some damage there from when I dropped the sword. But I was very, very pleased with the quality and the tightness of the Ito. The Ito is very, very tight. There's no movement whatsoever. And I really like this brown color. It's very, very well done. Like I said, it's not the most expensive thing, but it does the job nicely. The transitions here are really, really nice. There's a little bit of a ledge, but not much of an issue. And as you can see, the Fuchi matches the Kashra in elegance and simplicity. So really, really like it. Like I said, these fittings happen to be one of my favorite sets of fittings from HanBon Forge, and I did actually order another sword from them that is going to feature those same fittings, but different tsuba. So actually, let's take a look at the blade. This is that double-edged blade that I was talking to you about. It's very, very nicely done. They did a little bit of a polish on there. It came very sharp. You can see the different grooves, or I should say the fullers that they put into the blade, or the bohies. And the reverse edge, I do regret to say, did not come sharpened, and I didn't specify to them that I wanted that edge sharpened. So it's one of the things to note about dealing with these manufacturers of custom swords from these mass-produced these companies that do mass-produced katana. You got to be very, very specific about what you want, because this was supposed to be a double-edged blade. This is the blade that they don't normally do. It's sort of a special order thing, and because I didn't specify that I wanted the false edge sharpened, it came blunt. Now, I put my own edge on it. It was very simple for me to do, and it's extremely sharp. But it's just one thing to note, guys. If you're doing a custom project like this with one of those companies, you have to be very, very specific about what it is you want, because, it's just, they're dealing with a lot of people and a lot of different customers and a lot of different designs, so you got to be very specific. Now, the tsuba that I chose is this elegant, awesome, very, very elegant, fancy-looking tsuba right here, and I absolutely love it. I think it's, once again, probably one of my favorite tsuba that HanBon Forge offers. Interestingly enough, they don't offer this tsuba in their custom, like if you do a build your own sword thing, they don't offer it there, but they do offer it in this particular sword model, which is one of the reasons why I chose that base model to do this custom Nodachi with. And it is a really long blade, guys, as you can see here. I mean, this is not your standard katana. And it's very well balanced, too, though. It's hard to get it to fit in camera, which is what I'm trying to do here. But it's a very, very long blade, but like I said, extremely well balanced. There's really not a problem moving this thing around, and it's very, very nice and interesting sword to use. Now, I did also get a black gloss saya to go with it. Now, the interesting thing about this saya is they actually had to custom make it to fit this blade. So this is one of those rare instances where a mass-produced Japanese style sword comes with a katana that was, a saya that was fit for the blade, because like I said, this is a very odd sized blade. It's a 90 centimeter long blade. So they didn't, it's not a standard size saya, so they actually had to make this saya to fit the sword, and they did a fantastic job. It's very, very tight in the very, very tight fitting. It fits perfectly. It draws very nicely. There's really no rattle whatsoever when you're shaking the sword around, and it looks beautiful with the sword. It just fits nicely. And I did get this yellow and brown Sageo. Now, why it came with a Sageo is actually pretty interesting. I'm not really sure, because you wouldn't really wear this sword traditionally like you would a katana, so I don't really think you would have need for the Sageo, but they do actually include it, and it does look very, very nice. So overall, the fit and finish of the build was fantastic. I'm very, very thrilled with the workmanship here. I mean, it meets my expectations and follows along in line with the last sword that I got from them. And I didn't really mention before, but I did get these copper fittings, these copper habaki and the copper seppa. I think it's a little bit different. It adds to a little bit of the character of the sword, and it's just something different. Normally you see the brass habaki and the brass seppa. You kind of see it everywhere, so I decided to get copper. So how does the sword actually function? How does it cut? How does it move? Well, let's take a look at some cut testing and show you guys how I did working with this thing. It did take some time to learn how to use it, because the blade is long, and it's not just a length, it's also a long curved blade, and that does some funny things with dynamics when you're swinging the sword around. It feels much different than a long straight blade. Trust me, if you guys have messed around with straight and curved swords, they move differently. So I had a little bit of a hard time trying to learn how to use it and how to grip it. But once I got it down, the sword was absolute joy to use. So let's take a look at some cut testing footage, and I'll show you what I.
Pretty good cut. Okay, let's try a rising cut with the false edge. Beautiful. Look at that, false edge. It's still really cold today. Ugh. Come on, spring. Not bad. Sword's a little bit difficult to control on the cut because it's so long. That was a good one. There we go. That's the cut. Nice. Easy does it. Go. Nice. Look at that. Pretty sweet. Little bit of roughage right here, but overall, nice cut. I know it's a Japanese sword, but let's try something European-ish. false edging it. Woo! Nice. All right, we got newspaper roll today. Poor man's tatami. Woo! Check that out. You can see how thick this is, guys. That is very, very thick. Pass through no problem. Check it out. Nice. Nice. All right, guys, so these are heavy newspaper rolls that I made last night for this test cutting, and these are very heavy and very thick. If your edge is not sharp and your edge does not have decent edge geometry, it will not pass through this stuff, guys. I can promise you that. I've seen swords actually bend on this kind of material before, and this sword passed through no problem whatsoever. So that's a testament to just how nice this edge has been sharpened, also to the edge geometry, because these are very difficult to cut if you don't have an appropriate sword with the features that are made for cutting. So fantastic.
So I am not a student of Japanese swordsmanship. I'm not really a student of any swordsmanship. I'm just more of an enthusiast and collector, and I do look at some manuals and read some books. I know very little about how to actually use the Nodachi or the katana, so I'm not sure if this is supposed to be used like you would use a katana, but I had some very successful cuts, and it was very, very easy. Once you got to learn the dynamics, very, very easy and fun to wield, and it's just a fantastic sword. I'm really, really happy with the way it performed, and it's great. It's fantastic. So one of the things that I noticed about wielding the sword and swinging it around is I can kind of see how this would be different than a katana, is that it has a lot of reach, and it has a lot of ability to serve as sort of an anti-cavalry weapon, or something meant to face people on horseback or mounted troops, because the length is almost puts it in the realm of like sort of like a pole arm. I mean, you have just so much reach to keep your opponent at bay. But if you can imagine a soldier or mounted soldier riding down on you, if you were to just hold your point up towards that soldier or that mounted troop, you would have much more of a chance of using it in a thrust, or even striking someone on horseback, because of the excessive reach of the blade. Like I said, it's like almost a 36-inch blade, and also using it from horseback or mounted would also have great reach. You can use the sword one hand, although it's a little bit unwieldy, but I suppose you can do it. And if you could use someone who's a very accomplished rider, could stay on the horse and use their sword with two hands, this would be a fantastic option for that. Now, I do know, I did read a little bit about the Odachi and Nodachi, and I did read that they were suspected to be mostly battlefield weapons, and used to great effect against mounted troops. So, really, really cool sword, guys. I'm very happy with HanBon Forge's quality and attention to detail. It's not perfect. Like I said, this was less than $350 to have them build this awesome sword, so you can't expect perfection for that price, but I think it's really cool that you can get a custom Nodachi for less than $350 that is really nice and functional, and just serves as a really nice training tool. So Very, very cool. Very impressed, guys. And yeah, so I do highly recommend it. So if you want to go over to HanBon Forge, they can do something like this for you with different blade shapes. It's cool that I had these custom requests that were outside the ordinary and that they were able to produce and follow through very nicely. And, you know, there's very little to complain about. In fact, I can't really complain about anything. I mean, there could be some better fit and finish in the transitions where the fittings are, you know, and yes, you can see the seams of the Semigawa panel paneling through the Ito, and you know, everything is not 100% fit perfectly, but I think for what you pay and what you get, it's very, very nice. So thanks for coming by, guys. Thanks for watching my channel. Please leave a like. Please subscribe. I got another review coming up. I'm going to be reviewing the Cold Steel MAA Messer, which I've been wanting to review for a while. The MAA Messer, Man-at-Arms Messer. It's like a single-handed Messer, and it's a really cool sword. I'm looking forward to putting it through its paces and seeing what it's capable of doing. So, and doing a little bit of research on Messers because it happened to be one of my favorite swords. In fact, I don't know if I can really say that. I like mostly all swords. So, thanks for coming by, guys, and thanks for sticking around. And till next time, please be safe and have a really good week, and I will see you guys next time.